All right, we're back. Morse Code Podcast. Let's get right into it. Let's get this handled immediately. Before that, so how are you?
I'm doing very well. Concertless, but otherwise I'm healthy and happy. That's all I can ask for.
Good. Great news. Let's do this. So there's been a lot of confusion and a lot of turmoil here at the company over the last few days. I think we made an error. Yeah, a lot of drama on set. I think we made a error in our last episode. This is episode 35.
35.
I hope we release this one next. So that's true. This is episode 35. This is the Kevin Durant episode. Last week was the Shaquille O'Neal episode.
Paul Pierce and Kevin Gamble. But mostly
last
Shaq.
week was episode 34. Let's put it that way. And this one is episode 35.
Yeah.
So, understandably, that's why I assume we haven't heard from Kevin Durant on anywhere yet, because he's, smart enough to understand how numbers in chronological order work. So he's probably confused when he heard that, and then hopefully this clears the air with all that stuff. Hopefully.
We should let people know that this kind of caused a rift between us, too.
This is the first time we've spoken in days.
Not good, but
it's like Mike and the Mad Dog, like back in the day. There's always going to be drama. Mike and Mike, any Mike out there, anyone he's talking to, there's going to be drama. So we're moving past it. Let's move on. I kind of want to get right into it. Obviously, there's a lot of, we got playoff basketball going on. We got all that stuff. We're not going to get too into that tonight. It's only been a day. Celtics are up 1-0. We'll mention that briefly. Gordon Hayward's hurt. He's out for a while. Kind of sad about that. What else? LeBron James comes back tonight. The Bucks lost.
Got ejected.
Oh, KP got ejected. That was bogus, right? Are we on the same page with that one? I didn't see it till this morning.
Yeah.
Did you watch the game?
No, but I saw the highlights and that was awful.
Jesus. And like I said, bro, it's like I like the Mavericks. I think I don't know if you can clearly say they would have won that game, but certainly a much better chance if Porzingis is in there. Like I said, he's been playing well. He's just such a frail looking dude. How tall is he? Is he 7 foot?
Yeah, I think he's 7'3" or 7'4".
Holy shit, that's wild. That's so.
And he's actually put on weight since he's been in the league. Like he was even skinnier before.
Good call, dude. Remember him in New York? He was literally like a stick in New York, just a stick figure. It's like Ichabod Crane. But yeah, that stunk. But led to a lot of funny content on the internet. And the Bucks lost their game today. That's wild. I think they're gonna win in 5. But they lost today. I didn't watch the game. I didn't think there was a need to. And I saw at halftime they were down like 10 or 12 or something like that. And I almost as a joke, screenshotted it, posted it or something, then got distracted. And then saw they actually lost by 12. Giannis did his thing. He had another monster stat line. And I think their second high scorer was Eric Bledsoe, if I remember correctly. Middleton had 14. It's just
always
a very
good
strange
sign.
team. Yeah, always good. Always good to have your second go-to player scoring 14 points. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just a very interesting team. I think, he needs a little help. A little help would be nice to get past the Magic. But worst case, I was expecting a clean, easy sweep. If they can, they'll win the series. But if they can go 5 or 6 and put a little mileage on the legs, that can't help but help if we run into them later down the road. I don't know.
It's a hot take from our pal Greg Dickerson.
What do you say?
Episode
Fuck does he
22,
have?
23, something like that. He basically said
probably not even close.
There's no way that the Bucks will get to the finals, and that it's definitely going to be the Raptors or the Celtics.
No way, no how. Oh, the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals?
The finals.
I don't think they can go to the finals, bro.
I
think
100% think they will.
Bucks.
I think, yeah, I still think they're going to not cruise, but I don't think that the Celtics or the Raptors have a chance against them.
I wouldn't go that far. I think they have a chance. I don't think they're going to go. I think the Celtics, the Hayward thing kind of stinks. 'Cause I saw something on Twitter. It looks like, I think that's going to go like right into the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked earlier off air about the baby. If he could have his wife could help a brother out and have the baby like within these next 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's always the chance of him re-injuring his foot while helping deliver the baby.
You live with a baby. What does he think about this?
He's not thrilled. He's not thrilled. He's been there. He was recently delivered.
As a peer of Gordon Hayward's future baby, can he put in a good word for us?
I never thought about that. I don't like mixing family and business.
I mean, they're pretty much colleagues, though, or they will be. No matter how you look at it.
I don't see that any way I look at it. But I don't know. We'll see. But in all honesty, I hope he comes back fine. I hope we're playing at the time for him to even come back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I liked what I saw real quick out of the first game yesterday for the most part. I saw it today, dude. If you watch that first quarter, Embiid looked like a monster in that first quarter. And he was hitting some crazy fucking shots. I think he only finished with like 26 points, though.
Yeah. I think his first shot of the game was like a funny-looking hook shot. And then at one point, he buried a step-back three.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
And then he dunked like off the wrong foot on Daniel Tice, I want to say. Like, damn.
He had a very
But he's going to have to put up
60
to give him a chance.
Yeah, they just had some random dudes chipping in towards the end to start coming back. I'd like to see the Celtics be able to really just close out a game. Like, they won by 8, but it's like, I'd like to see one of those 10-point leads, like going into the fourth quarter, just be comfortable with that. Because I'm not comfortable with that whatsoever. No. I'm not comfortable with a 20-point lead at halftime anymore. I didn't love what I saw from Marcus Smart, and I don't love what I'm anticipating to see if he gets put in the starting role and plays like Gordon Hayward. Like, just watches Gordon Hayward film and just tries to do what he does. That would kind of stink. I'd rather have him play like Marcus Smart than Gordon Hayward.
I can agree with that.
He should be able to do much easier, I would think.
Yeah.
If I'm Marcus Smart, I would hope I'm better at playing like Marcus Smart than Gordon Hayward. But that's why we're not in the big leagues. That's why we're doing this.
If only.
Some people talk about the game and some people play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And me, you, and Marcus Smart, neither of us really played the game all that well. That one series was just laughable. Like, when I think it was Grant Williams who was getting offensive rebounds and just kicking him back out to Smart in that same spot, taking a three. First shot was bad. I think the second one was even worse. And then it's just like, bro, like, it's not. We don't need this, Marcus. Go do something else. Go be scrappy. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, I remiss. Let's get back on track. We'll jump into that maybe later this week. We have a friend of the program coming on later this week. A new friend of the program. I can't wait to introduce you to him. Not really a guest. Not really like an interview, but more like a Jad or a Sean or a Griff. A friend of the program who's going to join us. And he's got some interesting perspectives, I think, on this Philadelphia series. I think it's going to be eye-opening and ear-opening to a lot of our audience.
Yeah. If I had to, I was going to say if I had to pick one or the other, I would prefer both. Mm-hmm. Open both sets of body parts.
If you're going to watch the audio version of the podcast, that's probably not the best route. But that's why we put it on different platforms. Anyway, today we have this was a lot of fun. So to be fully transparent, we recorded this interview actually like last week, like a while ago.
Yep.
But we didn't really touch on any current events. So we have, before we get into the guest, it was basically a really dope, kind of a trip down memory lane. Even back to this show, when we first started this show, it was really very heavy on Last Dance and the Bulls because that's what was happening at the time. So Soapy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the guest we have on tonight, since you're the one who kind of hooked it up.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both follow this section of the online Twitter and Instagram community quite a bit, which is just shoe collectors. And it's pretty fun. Like you said, trip down memory lane. So this is at OG Sneaker Nerd. Definitely follow him. He's got something like 25,000 followers on Instagram. He doesn't do Twitter, but he has so many cool posts about So first of all, he's a huge Jordan and Nike fan, and all of his posts are dedicated to just memories of Jordan, pictures of him, like clear pictures of him in those Jordans, and just like things that he remembers from his childhood. I think he's about 10, 15 years older than us. So he's got, like he was, fully cognizant and everything during Jordan's run. He met him, which is a cool story that he told us. Met him in like a very unique situation. So that was cool. And he was just like a really fun guy to talk to. It was basically us reminiscing about the 90s NBA and 90s like pop culture. Told us about, let's see here, I think he told us about how shoe collecting was back then, like the random stores that you could get that stuff back in, which now
shout out
you
Dillard's.
have to shout out Dillard's.
You gotta enter a fucking lottery.
Now you don't have a chance to get any of that shit. And he was walking into department stores. So super cool dude. And definitely looking forward to having him back on.
Yeah, no, it was fun. So I mean, this one is more, well, I don't, like you said, it's really not just a niche audience for sneakers and shit like that. We talk a lot of sneakers, obviously, but if you've been following us from the beginning, we talk a lot reminiscing on The Last Dance, a lot of Jordan era. And it was just cool to hear someone like actually, like when the 4s, 5s, and 6s came out, he was buying those shoes like we buy, the LeBron 15, 16, 17, whatever it is. Which is cool because, I was like 5 or 6 in the mid 90s. So that it wasn't really too relevant for me, but no, super cool guy. I know we joke around and do a lot of like fake ad reads and stuff, but 100%, like if you're on Instagram, if you like basketball, if you like sneakers, if you like just cool shit, really, if you listen to our show, I guarantee you're going to like following him. Definitely follow him. It's at OG Sneaker Nerd, right? On Instagram. Okay, cool. We'll put that link in the show notes, but check him out, check his stuff out. He's super cool, very interactive. He's helped out with a lot, to be honest with you, helping out with us with sharing posts and shit like that. So, super cool dude. Let's get right into the interview with the OG Sneaker Nerd on the Morse Code Podcast.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Morse Code Podcast, Dan Morse, Soapy Priya. Let's just get right into it. Soapy, what do we got today?
Yeah, we got a very special guest, someone who, if you're into sneakers and you are on Instagram, this is a guy that you should be following, and chances are you probably are following, because I was going to say the sneaker community is a pretty dope part about social media. But anyways, we got at OG Sneaker Nerd, a.k.a. our newest pal, Brian, joining us on the show. How we doing?
Good. Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Not much, man. Absolutely. So Soapy should go back. If you have 2 feet and you're on Instagram, you're probably going to like this handle.
Yeah, we did say that we're not into controversial things, but if you have 2 feet and you wear shoes, so not to offend the 2-footed shoe community.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just took all the amputee sneaker people right out of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, they can still collect them, but anyway,
we've been canceled about this before.
The worst. No, Brian, thanks for hopping on, man. I know you're busy. But yeah, so let's get right into it. This is a cool get for us because I mean, if you've been following the show for a while, we talk a lot of hoops, but we've actually talked a decent amount of sneakers too. I don't know if it was really on purpose or not, but I think some of the guests we've have on, I feel like sneakers in the basketball community obviously kind of go hand in hand.
Yep.
So some of the basketball reporters, writers, whatever. The NBA, I think, is a different animal because unlike, well, Brian, I guess you know better than anyone. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, sneakers in the NBA are a lot more well-known and kind of personalized than really, we don't really relate any baseball players to their cleats or football or soccer or hockey, like we do the NBA. And actually, not for nothing, it's the other way around. If you've noticed, football's kind of following that trend. Guys like OBJ and stuff and Stephon Diggs are, I think, trying to get it going, but the NFL is such a strict organization. It's like just pregame warm-up cleats is pretty much like the most you can do as far as PEs and in the NFL. Right. So it's cool to have you on, man. I'm excited about today's chat.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really excited too. Should be really fun.
Yeah. So I guess just getting right into it, Brian. Tell us a little bit about, you have a huge Instagram following, and I've been following you for a while now, and it's dope to see. Obviously, it's Jordan and Nike centric, but just tell us how you got started. For anyone, as Dan likes to say, if we have listeners who reside under rocks, tell us a little bit about yourself in case they're not aware.
Well, you don't have to bump me up too much. It's not that big a deal. But I'm probably quite a bit older than you guys. So when I was really little, I just loved basketball. It was in my DNA as a kid, and not because I was exposed to it, just because I did like it. So I grew up in the Phoenix area, born in the 70s, so came up in the 80s. And then into my teen years, early 90s, when things really got big, obviously, right, with 90s basketball. So, I tell people this all the time for younger people, sports was a lot more regional in the early to mid 80s, even maybe into the late 80s. There wasn't ESPN, there wasn't cable really widespread yet. So you just got regional sports. So being in Phoenix, we had the Suns. We had no football, no baseball, and the Lakers obviously were huge in the mid 80s, right? So Magic was a huge presence in the West, and I liked Magic. And then my believe it or not, my dad's older brother lived next door to us, and I had cousins that lived next door, and they were big sports guys, and they liked Jordan. And I I knew about Jordan, and then my parents had a couple friends that were a couple that lived in Chicago, and they had no kids, and they would come visit us, and they would just bring us all this Chicago stuff because they had no kids and they wanted to kind of throw stuff at us. And so I remember maybe 87, 88, this couple came to our house and brought us all a bunch of Cub stuff and this 3-pack Jordan poster set from McDonald's. It was a local Chicago thing, and that you could only get in Chicago. And I mean, it was like a light bulb turned on, and now I'm totally hooked on this Jordan guy.
So how old were you at that time, Brian? Like when this all first started?
I'm probably 12 or 13 right then. So
that's sweet spot.
Right. Sweet spot for me to be obsessed with something. I'm just kind of coming out of being a kid and just trying to be a little bit older. And so now that obsession starts. Cable TV starts to get big, right? WGN, we have that. So now I can see Bulls games once in a while. And now obsession starts. And then it's immediately the 88 dunk contest happens, and we all saw the free throw line dunk and the Air Jordan 3, the white cement Air Jordan 3, right? Which now is completely iconic, and everybody knows about it, and it's kind of everywhere. But back then, again, it wasn't a thing. Sneakers was not a thing. Right. That anybody said, hey, let's be into this, or let's like this, or let's resell these. That was not a thing. So if you liked it, you just liked it because it connected you to Jordan, right? It was one of those things that made you, I want to have that because it makes me look like him or act like him or play like him. And that's all I want, right? So, obsessed with that. So another thing real quick too, being a little older, sorry, I'm vamping here. No. But again, late 80s, right now, so my oldest son is 13. His entire sports life is YouTube clips, right? Or Instagram clips. Back then, it was all print media. Everything was Sports Illustrated pictures, or newspaper clippings, or that was it, right? That was your sports highlights. That was how we obsessed over this stuff. It wasn't seeing commercials necessarily or videos. It was all print ads. So then I started to consume, magazines. I tell people all the time, I'd go to a dentist appointment and be in the waiting room and look through a Sports Illustrated, and I'd rip out pages of Jordan and steal them and shove them in my pocket and take them home. So anyway, so that's kind of where the obsession started, and then the sneaker thing kind of just took off from there. Honestly, nobody else I knew liked sneakers, even all through high school. I mean, people had sneakers and stuff, but nobody else really liked sneakers. Yeah. I graduated, this is going to date me, but I graduated high school in 1994. So kind of early in the 90s. And still by that time, nobody I knew liked sneakers or had the sneaker collection I had or wanted to talk about it. So it's, for me, all of it is purely passion. Just, it's not, you know, we were sharing some messages and stuff about when we were setting this up about what kind of shoes and what do you have. I'm really not into the hype stuff. You know, you know, some of the hype stuff I like just because it looks cool or I like it, but it's not because it's hyped. And I get that there's a whole market for that now. I get that. But for me, really, all it is about the sneakers that I loved as a kid and trying to take me back to that time. The feelings I had, you know, watching the games, wanting to be like Mike. Anyway, and that was kind of the impetus or how it all started for me.
Yeah. No, that's so it's funny because really when we really got started with this podcast was right around when Last Dance came out. A couple months, 3 months ago, whenever it was.
Right.
And for us, I mean, we're both 31. So we're like right at that area where, like, you know, when that shit was going on in the 90s, I was like 10 at like the peak. So I liked basketball, but I wasn't watching and following basketball. I certainly wasn't buying Jordan shoes. So it's kind of cool because, like, for us and for people in, I guess, that age demographic, the Last Dance was a really awesome, like, rewind back to, oh yeah, like this was freaking insane. Like the Jordan height and the shoes and everything. But like I commented earlier, you were like right in that sweet spot where it's like you were at the perfect age where you could justify, you know, spending time watching this stuff as it actually happened, buying the shoes. And I'm curious because you mentioned graduated high school in '94. That's almost like close to peak Jordan. That's literally right between the first three and the second three. So that's pretty cool. I'm curious what the sneaker scene was like back then. According to you, it sounds like it wasn't really much at the time. It was still kind of a thing that was kind of being developed, like players associated with their shoes.
Right. Yeah, well, definitely. Right.
By players, I mean Jordan. I don't think there's anything else.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I think the early 90s, you know, 92, 93, that's, you know, guys started coming out of college and then getting signature shoes right away. Yeah. You know, Larry Johnson's probably one I can remember, came right out and got his own shoe, right? Because other brands, Converse and other brands were like, oh man, we better get on this train, this bandwagon.
this business model works.
We rejected this Jordan guy, you know, 10 years ago. Dang, we better jump on this now.
Larry Bird's not going to live forever.
But yeah, by then his back was done by then. But you know, it's kind of funny. You said something about the Last Dance and you guys being, you know, 10, 11 years old, right around the end of the Jordan Bulls era. I always tell everybody, now believe me, I love all the championship years, but maybe my favorite Jordan is pre-championship Jordan.
Yeah.
I think, man, because that was right when I was getting into it, right? 87, 88, 89, 90. He was grinding. I mean, that guy.
He's getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah. And he grinded right back.
Yep.
And man, of course, it was awesome to see them win it and get over that hump. But like, you know, 96, 97, 98 Jordan, he's more of this mythical creature than the guy who was trying to win and the guys weren't respecting him, right? Like the Isaiahs and the Birds and the Magics, you know, he's still trying to get respect, right? And that was probably one of my favorite times. But yeah, the sneaker game in the early 90s was interesting because that now there's some success with Jordan, right? And he's got some success. This business model has paid off, and now there's a lot of offshoots, right? Even with Nike, right? Scottie Pippen's got some shoes. Charles Barkley's got some shoes. David Robinson's wearing some signature stuff. And then Converse takes off, and Shaquille O'Neal gets a shoe with Reebok, right? 93. And there was a lot of, it felt a little bit gimmicky. Even, to be honest with you, the Air Jordan 8 probably wasn't one of my favorites with the cross straps and the Bugs Bunny era. You know, as a kid, maybe it was okay. And I was kind of growing out of that, but I was like, man, we came from this real gritty black and white Mars Blackman street kind of thing. And now and I get it. They're probably trying to, hey, we've already cornered the market with all these guys. Let's get all this 7 to 10-year-olds or whatever. Let's pull all these kids in with the colors and the Bugs Bunny stuff. And I get
they
it.
had to get guys like me and Soapy to go see the movie.
And I get it, but man, I didn't love that. I love, the 7s are pretty iconic, obviously, for all the reasons. The Olympics, the shrug game, all that stuff. I'm not going to call them Raptors 7s because I know people love that, but the Raptors didn't exist in 1992.
I just thought that was weird that they called them those.
Wait, did they call them that at the time? No, obviously.
No, but since then they've just
every time I never even thought about that. That's a good point.
That's the point. No one called them that then. They were the playoff 7s. Because that was I think that was one of the first times that they had maybe besides the Air Jordan 1, but the 7 was the first pair to have 2 black colorways come out. So that they had the Bordeaux 7s obviously that came out, and then the playoff 7s. So another thing you guys might not remember too, maybe you guys didn't know this, but early on, I think up till I want to say Air Jordan 9 or 10, I can't remember. But when the Jordans released, they would release a white and a black colorway at the same time, same day. So now, you're already lucky if you get one pair, right? But now you're standing there at the wall with this Sophie's choice of like, how in the heck am I going to pick between which one did he wear in the commercial? That's the one I'm getting. That's usually where it ends up getting. But anyway.
So maybe this is a stupid question, but I know you grew up in Phoenix area. So are you a Bulls fan?
I became a Bulls fan immediately.
Okay, cool.
In fact, went to a family reunion in summer of '91 after the Bulls had won their first title, and I was wearing a bunch of Bulls stuff. And my uncle was a season ticket holder for the Suns, and he says to me, "What if the Suns and the Bulls play in the championship? Who are you going to root for?" And I said, "I'd root for the Bulls. I'd root for the Bulls." And I said, "Plus, that's not happening. The Suns are terrible." And then, of course, 2 years later,
here we are.
Suns and Bulls.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of middle fingers from people during that playoff run.
Jeez.
With wearing my Bulls jersey at the mall, in my car.
Man,
it was pretty heated.
Yeah.
So it's hot and you're getting middle fingers.
My goodness.
Terrible combination.
Yeah,
nothing like getting flipped off when it's 120 out. To go to the mall. Respect. Jeez,
116 right now here.
Jesus Christ. Good.
Speaking of heat. You see those?
Oh,
I just brought those out because I know these are your favorites.
Are you showing off your biceps or the shoes?
Well, 2 biceps and 2 shoes. But,
4 guns total.
Both good.
Yeah, those are tight. Those are dope.
So I think I started loving the sneakers around Air Jordan 3, but like somewhere in the middle of the season, too late. I'm too young. I can't talk my mom into that. I talk her into the Air Jordan 4. Well, here, I'll tell you this real quick. Sorry, but
go ahead.
I see the Air Jordan 4 commercial. You guys know the can or can't. You can do this, but you can't do this. And man, that commercial was iconic. And everybody saw that and says, "Oh, I got to have those sneakers." So again, there's no pausing TV, right? There's no pausing it. There's no YouTube where you can go pause it and research the sneakers. So now you just have a picture in your head, and you're a stupid 10-year-old, 12-year-old kid. And your mom says, "I'll buy you those shoes." So you go to the store and you just look at the wall and you see a pair of black Nikes and you go, "Yeah, that's them right there." You don't even ask anybody because you're confident. Okay. So I buy these black Nikes. These are the Jordans. About 2 weeks later, I realized these are not Air Jordans. These are just the black Nike shoes.
Some trainers.
So, yeah. So I thought I was hot stuff, and that didn't work out. So I finally got the military blue 4s. Was the first pair of Air Jordans I ever got.
Nice. I'm trying to think, like, what was, I don't know if you know this because you were so young at the time, but what was like retail like for the actual like 3s and 4s when those came out? Like if you went to like Foot Locker and actually bought a legit pair.
Yeah, I think the 3s
compared to now.
I think the 3s were $100, and I'm pretty sure the 4s were like 110, 115. That, I mean, in today's
that sounds
dollars,
about right, I guess. Yeah,
no,
that's actually I would think it'd be less actually, because that's not like if I guess it's hard to say like if a 4 released today because it's all resell and stuff like that. But
right,
you know what I mean. But yeah, that sounds about right. So That's interesting because like you keep alluding to, you know, it's all about how old you are at the time. Like I was 6 years old. I had no right to go to my mom and say, hey, I need these sneakers so I can go stunt walking into first grade. And you know what I mean?
Right,
But that's pretty cool. I've always said it'd be really cool to grow up in that era with a better understanding of what was going on. Because that's what The Last Dance taught me. It was like, oh shit, like I know about this stuff, but I certainly don't remember it in real time. And you brought up Space Jam. I think Space Jam is my first real memory of like, okay, I remember, you know, my parents taking me to see this movie. I remember I knew who Michael Jordan was. I had a Toon Squad jersey, like all that stuff. But no, it's cool to be able to reflect from your angle on actually really living through that era and still kind of continuing that passion. So that's pretty dope, man. Those are cool stories to hear.
Yeah, sure. It was pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. And I think we even wish we had more. Yeah, we were more aware than we were. And again, it was hard to get some stuff and see stuff because it was, you know, it wasn't as widespread as it is now. Like, as much access. I mean, I talk about this all the time with some of my friends. I can't. What would it be like if Jordan had Twitter or Instagram? Right? What if Charles Barkley had Twitter in 1991? I mean, holy cow. Oof. He would have burned down the country. Yeah. So anyway, it just wasn't as widespread, and we didn't know everything about everything like we do now with everybody, which maybe is good and bad. I don't know.
Yeah. Quick question. I want to see, you know, I left it up to you to show us anything that you wanted to show us, but in terms of the actual retail situation real quick, because that stuff didn't take off, you know, online with shoe raffles and having to sign up for certain apps in order to be able to buy a sneaker that comes out on Saturday. What did it look like in the store? Was that what we faced with having to buy toilet paper 6 months ago? Like you just show up and hope that there is some?
Ooh, there they are.
I think early, I mean, I don't remember standing in line for a shoe until the late 90s, maybe 99, 2000. So that was not a thing there. You could just walk in for the most part any day and get almost any shoe you wanted at any time. Awesome. And I remember department stores had sneakers back then too, where they would sell them. So it was pretty widely available. You know, it wasn't a specialty item like it kind of feels like it is now sometimes.
Yeah. When you say department stores, you mean like a Macy's or a Sears, something like that would have them?
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy.
I bought my Bordeaux 7s at a place called Dillard's. I don't know if that's an East Coast thing, but Dillard's is a West Coast Macy's kind of place. So I bought my Bordeaux 7s at a Macy's or at a Dillard's. Jesus Christ. I think even my I bought the Cardinal 7s at a Dillard's as well. Probably on sale because nobody
Shout
wanted
out
them.
Dillard's. I'm like going to Sears and buying a washing machine, pair of fours, and a pair of slacks all in one.
Lawnmower.
Yeah, right?
You get the dad discount.
Right.
Oh, that's hilarious. No, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
So you could anytime. You could walk into any store anytime. It wasn't a big deal. Especially again, when the initial sneaker comes out and the white and red or the white and black colorways come out together, you know, you kind of got your pick there. So
yeah, not so much the case these days. Walk into stores don't even really exist currently in Corona times, but even so, you walk into like a Olympia Sport or whatever, Foot Locker, you might be able to get the team Jordans that no one else wants, but that's pretty much it.
Well, even if something comes out right and you see it there later on a Saturday afternoon on the day they release, you go, "Oh, nobody wanted those?" Like that. It's like that feeling, right? Mm-hmm. If you see them on the shelf, they must be trash.
They must be trash, yeah.
Because everything sells out in the morning, right?
Right.
So
and then you go to the outlets and it's like, woof, what the fuck are these things? These are like the bottom of the trash barrel.
Yes.
It's funny. Yeah. I actually they're one of my favorite pairs. I'm not a huge shoe collector, but one of my favorite pairs to use. I have this random pair of Kobe's that I got in an outlet, and I guess I could go grab them. I don't think it's worth it, but I continually try to like Google like the description of the shoe to see if I can find any sort of image in it online. I'm convinced it's just like a pair of leather that they put together and slapped like the Kobe logo on it. I can't find it anywhere, but they're actually kind of dope. So I don't know about you, but like up here, Soapy mentioned his hometown Merrimack. There's an outlet, and there's a few Nike store outlets around here, and it's like you said, it's like Foot Locker. Then you go down like 10 rungs from that, like in 2020. That's pretty much what that is. But yeah, the actual time, like that's interesting because nowadays it's like it's not Jordan, but it's like LeBron or KD or Kyrie. It's like, okay, we're waiting on the LeBron 18 or the KD whatever. That must have been crazy back in the day, waiting on the biggest basketball player of all time. Like, oh shit, like this is what the 4 looked like. This was crazy. I can't wait to see the 5 and the 6 and the 7 and etc. That must have been like super dope, obviously, growing up in that era when you could buy the sneaker.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So were you like, were you in every year? Like I got the 4, the 5, the 6. Yeah. Okay. That's sick.
So just quick, I bought the 4s and then I found the black 5s at an outlet. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, can you imagine finding the black 4s at an outlet,
Shout out
8 months after they came out? Mm-hmm. Got the black 5s, the fire red 5s. The black
an
6.
Outlet?
No. Just no. These are just the ones I probably got all through high school, and then so I usually got
Dillard's. We need to get them on for some sponsorship. Give these free ads.
I don't think they have any money left. I think
right up our alley. Perfect. Because we can't pay them.
That's exactly who might sponsor us.
That's our target market.
Right. Oh man.
No, that's funny.
But every year I became obsessed, and I needed a pair from every year. It was hard. I of course I never got every colorway. So it was always hard to decide what you're going to get. Usually it's just opportunity. What could you get at the right time, the right place, when you had money? Because again, you're 16, but you still don't have $125 just laying around. Anyway. And then, again, black sneakers became really popular in the early 90s. So I think my early collection was dominated by black colorways. I had black 5s, 4s, the black 6, both black 7 pairs, and then both black 8 pairs. And it kind of regret because some of the just white colorways were incredible. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still, chase after every year that comes out now, like to this day?
So I have started again, but the last pair, I bought every pair from 4 to 21.
Okay.
Not every pair, but at least one colorway or the main colorway of every pair.
Yep.
After the 21, my first son was born, and then I was done for a little while. Young father trying to keep our stuff together.
Yeah, I have a 1-year-old right now, so I understand. It's hard to justify buying a pair of $200 sneakers and then bitching about buying baby food like formula and stuff.
Right. Yeah,
that's
he
fair.
can make it.
Yep. My wife will like this part. That's fair. Yep. That's cool.
So actually I went on a 10-year drought of buying. I didn't buy any sneakers from like 07 to 2016. None. We had 3 kids in that time. I'm in the architecture business, so in the 08 crash, business was terrible for a long time. So it took us a while to get back on our feet. But so I bought 31, 32. I skipped the 33. I wasn't feeling that one. And I do have a couple pairs of 34s that I really like. So I'm kind of into that again. And I like, of course, being an old guy, I like the ode to the old stuff, the 31 kind of paying homage to the 1, the 32 to the 2, and vice versa. And of course, I'm elated to see what the 35 is going to be, see what kind of, if it pays any homage to the 5, probably my favorite shoe.
So you mentioned your 13-year-old. Is that your oldest kid? Are they, it's a boy, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he into sneakers and hoops and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, my 13-year-old son's big into sneakers.
Cool.
My
can't
13-year-old
imagine
son
why.
plays ball on the, Yeah. Well, my next son's 11, and he hates sports, and he has no interest in any of that. So
nice. That's kind of cool, though. It must be. I assume it's kind of cool to kind of revisit that stuff with your kids. That must mean a lot, right?
Yeah, no, it's really fun. Saying, hey, these are yours someday. You can wear some of these dead stock sneakers when you get in high school. I don't care.
Right.
I
have no money put away for college, but I got like 500 sneakers you can have.
Right. Yeah. So you go ahead and decide what you want to do.
No, that's cool.
I wish that wasn't true. That's kind of too close to home.
That's funny. So did they, are they, well, I guess I should ask you too. It sounds like you still follow, current NBA and stuff. Were they, did they follow some of like the Last Dance stuff, and were you able to say like, hey, this is like some of the shit I grew up with and stuff like that?
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun because we watched it together. We'd pause it once in a while, and he'd ask me, what does that mean? Or what does that story have to do with? And
why is that guy spray painting his hair? Why is he on WCW Monday Night Nitro? What the fuck is going on?
Those are the questions I don't have answers to.
They've worn those Jazz jerseys before?
Hey, they're wearing the throwbacks.
Right.
Oh, yeah, man, that's funny.
That was great. That was fun. I love that Last Dance. I thought so I should back up a little bit and say some of my best friends in the world I've made on Instagram. You guys follow the
Thank you. That's very flattering.
Well, it's you two. You guys are you guys are 1 and 2, and then right after, way under you, number 3. Yeah. You guys follow the OG support group. You should follow those guys.
I also just started following that today.
I will. I haven't yet.
So I'm lucky to be a member of that group. Started in 2016. Kind of helped get my resurgence back into sneakers, actually. And probably one of my good friends there, guys, S Collard 23. You guys should follow him for sure. If you're not following him, you're doing yourself a disservice. But he and I are about the same age. He and I had been chatting for a long time on Instagram, and he kind of helped reignite my passion, and I owe a lot of it to him. So, but man, that group of guys really knows their stuff. They love sneakers. We kind of have a really eclectic group. We have a lot of vintage collectors, guys who love the 90s and 80s, some PE collectors. We have some guys who have been grabbing some stuff from Derek Anderson's collection, which has been pretty cool, and Mike Bibby's collection. So Mr. underscore spotlight underscore 10, that guy has got some amazing PE stuff he's just secured. You should check that out.
Definitely. Yeah.
A guy named Soul to Soul, Seth Woolman, that guy has been chatting with PJ Tucker recently, and they've been kind of selling and sharing stuff back and forth. Anyway, and PJ, I mean, it's crazy. That guy has a crazy collection. I heard he took 60 pairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, both left.
He's a multi-foot owner for sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so he was, every year he's in the running for I think like the Kicks on Court champion through Nice Kicks. And he's been on so many different teams too, that even when the NBA didn't have when they had the rule on, your shoes had to match your uniform, he was still bringing out heat every game. What did you think when he wore the Yeezys on court?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
And didn't break his ankle.
Well, he's
because he did that for Phoenix, I'm pretty sure, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, good call.
Shout out to PJ Tucker. Good. I mean, NBA player, great player. I don't know. I don't know if he's really getting down and guarding anybody, like really, right? He's not, no, I'm just kidding. But
he plays on the Rockets, so
I don't know if he's in danger of rolling an ankle, but
he's coming on the show next, so we can just ask him when he comes. He's in the waiting room right now.
Not a huge fan of the Yeezys, so I don't know.
Good call.
You can imagine.
It was strange that that he went that way. I think I've seen one or two other guys do it too, and I was like, "That's cool." I've seen some guys throw on.
Looks cool.
Tabo Cephalosha, I think, has worn Nike Air Max 90s in a game, which is
really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, really? In a professional NBA game, you're
getting
gonna
paid
try
to
out
do this.
sneakers?
Yeah.
Right.
Gonna try out
You're
some
on the
cross
clock.
trainers?
Yeah, and a running shoe that probably doesn't have a lot of lateral stability.
Yeah, I mean, I have plenty of those, and I've tried running in them, and they're not great for that. So I couldn't.
Right.
I've never tried jumping in them. Not a single jump has been
Well, that's fair.
converted
I'd
to
love.
those shoes. So
I would love to see like a high-profile new dad, and I have someone in mind. I just thought about it. Come out in like the Air Monarchs, like in the middle of a game. And I'm thinking Gordon Hayward. I just thought about this. How dope would that be if Gordon Hayward comes back? We're both Celtics fans. So if Gordon Hayward leaves to go witness the birth of his son, whatever, comes back in the Eastern Conference Finals or NBA Finals in a pair of Air Monarchs, drops 30.
Yeah.
Not only are those sales already through the roof because dads everywhere wear them.
Right.
I'm still waiting for my pair. But that would be kind of dope.
Does he have a walker on court or not on court?
Good question.
I think it's fair.
Great question.
I think it's fair.
We have him on later tonight. We'll have to ask him. Good question.
Instead of like a shooting sleeve, he has a oven mitt on for like.
He has like one of those. Brian would know about this. Like one of those like baby wrap things, like you can wear. Like on his sleeve, just ready to go.
Yeah.
Plays the second half with his infant, like wrapped in like
fire.
The Hangover. Yeah.
He's literally on fire.
He is quite literally on fire.
He's literally on fire.
Can
Can you get a Gordon Hayward education reform jersey? I really want one of those.
That's a great question. Are they selling those?
I'll check I live near an outlet. I'll check. I assume that's
serious.
Where
like,
they
do they
go.
sell those on like NBA.com, like the player custom jerseys?
Yeah, I want one of those.
I always assumed they did, but I guess.
Why would they not? Right?
Yeah.
I
always thought going into the season that it sounds like those are here to stay for the rest of the year, at least while they're in the bubble. I thought it was more of a short-lived thing than anything else. But I'll be honest, like when the NBA first came back, I was like, and I support all that stuff, but I was like, damn, in 5 months, I kind of need those last names to remember. Yeah. Like to remember some of these guys who were on these teams from other games I was watching. Like I'm watching like Grizzlies, fucking Blazers, and I was like, okay, I support all these movements, but I don't know who this guy is. I kind of forget.
I know 3 of these people.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, that's funny. I don't know. So let's transition to this. So speaking of like on the court stuff, do you play basketball at all? Do you play pickup and stuff like that with some of these shoes, or are you strictly?
No, I did play. I played in high school, and I continued to play recreationally throughout my life. Man, I'll tell you guys, post 40, it doesn't get much better. So, So, I mess around. My son and I mess around. He played on the 7th grade team last year, and he's a pretty good player, and we play and just for fun. But I haven't played an organized game in a while, and man, the legs just keep getting tighter and tighter. So, but I do love playing. And all those I said I had Jordans from 1 to 21 or 4 to 21. Yeah. And I played in all of them.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah.
Any ones that you prefer that are better? I mean, there's some that are, rhetorically better on court than off court, stuff like that. And any you prefer to play as far as comfort?
The first one that comes to mind is the 12. I thought the 12 was a perfect shoe for me. The Zoom Air was great. The support was good. I love the 12. Just remembering that right off the top of my head. Yeah. 17 was good. I thought, I remember 17 being good. Probably what I remember the most is the ones I hated. I hated 15. 15 was terrible. It gave me bad, made my feet sore.
I'm going to pull up StockX right now so I can kind of confirm some of these.
20 I didn't like. That was the one with that weird ankle strap that always rubbed me raw. I hated that one.
That super high ankle strap, right? The red one?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
With the laser etched 4 strap or the 4-foot strap.
Yep.
Yeah. And awesome shoe, cool shoe, but as a basketball shoe, I hated that shoe. Anyway, the 31s are comfortable, really nice. The 34s are really nice.
I've heard that before too. We had someone on recently who said that. I remember watching, Sophie, I'll let you go next, but real quick, speaking of The Last Dance, I remember watching, correct me where I'm wrong, it was Jordan's last game in the Garden, or like his first comeback game in the Garden, where we're the ones, like
yeah,
it's
last
like
game
a
in the
retroactive
Garden.
thing, and his flesh almost bled off of his bones.
Yeah.
Have you ever played basketball in the ones? Because those are basically skateboarding shoes nowadays.
Right. No, no.
Oof, good for you. Smart man.
No,
good father.
The first one I ever got was when they retroed them in '95.
Oh, okay.
I got one of those. I never wore those. They were dead stock.
I can't even imagine.
And then I think the first pair I wore was 2001, the black and blue, the royal blue 2001. Yeah, so, but no, probably just for extracurricular. Never really played in them. No.
Like you might as well wear a pair of Vans or like fucking rollerblades without the wheels.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know if there's air in those soles. They're pretty hard.
Ironically,
so
no
flat.
Air. Yeah.
Like just walking on.
They're like Air Force Ones. Like they're just flat.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Try not to die.
Try not. Yeah. Well, even MJ.
They look cool.
That second year, he had them customized lower. The midsole. The midsole was lowered a little bit because he liked that closer to the ground feel. So if you look at like the pairs that he's wearing against the Celtics.
Yeah.
Excuse me. In that 63-point game.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're a little lower.
Not to mention that Boston Garden Court was the equivalent of a parking lot post meteor crash with like dust on top of it. That was one of we joked about that on our previous episode. That Last Dance episode was hilarious because not only was that game phenomenal, and a lot of people forget the Bulls didn't even win that game, but like some of the close-ups of that court was like, what are we doing? Like this is the highest level of basketball in the country, and this is what these guys are playing on.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why fucking Larry Bird had back problems in his 30s. It's like, dude, he's playing on a court that is not meant for human movement whatsoever. But
hey guys,
that's hilarious.
Guys, watch out! There's loose gravel near half court.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like people are smoking in the stands. Everyone's hammered. It's just. I remember my parents or my dad has told me stories about like going to the Garden back in the day, and it's like I remember as a kid, like he would take me to a game at the Fleet Center, TD Garden, whatever, post 2000 to be conservative, and he's like, "Oh, I could tell you stories about what this place was like back in the 80s, like in the 70s."
I'm sure
it's pretty funny. But yeah, go ahead. So I know you had a few things we wanted to touch on too.
Yeah, I guess without further ado, I think we wouldn't do you justice if we didn't invite you to show some shoe or non-shoe memorabilia. I know you got just paying attention to your Instagram. So yeah, what you got over there?
Anything you can bless us with?
So okay, I'll tell you this. Every shoe I got from the 4s to the 9s. So in '94, I went on a Mormon mission. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those guys who ride the bikes, right? And when I left home for 2 years, my old man decided to toss all my stuff. So unfortunately, a lot of those vintage kicks are gone. And like I said, I took a little break. So I've got some, probably the oldest pair I have right now is a pair of steel 10s with the toe cap on it. Anyway, so, but what I do have, what I didn't tell you when we were talking about coming up, November of 1990, kind of in the beginnings / middle of my passion for MJ. One of my good friends, Barry Van Patten, his dad owned a little small gym in Phoenix. And it was the night before the Bulls were supposed to play the Suns. And Barry Van Patten calls me and says, "Hey, we're coming to pick you up. Michael Jordan's at my dad's gym." And I said, "What?" And so anyway, he goes, "Hey, I don't even have any Michael Jordan stuff. Can I borrow a poster?" I'll buy you another one, the same one. Okay. So I get some posters for his brother and me and him, and his parents pick us up. I'm 15 years old and drive us to the gym. We get there. He's still working out. Tim Grover's with him. Of course, no one knew who he was. I know who he was. But I have a picture, and you can see Tim in the background. And so retroactively later, I went,
I love Tim Grover.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I love following him now. Yeah.
Me too. So we go into Barry's dad's office. They say, we're going to bring him in here into the office. He's going to chat with you guys. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're going to get him totally uninterrupted. And we're adrenaline is pumping, right? So then they come and go, he's not coming in here. He's at the bar getting a protein shake or whatever. And so I don't know if you can see this here.
Oh yeah. Oh,
so,
damn.
So there's MJ with, of course I'm wearing my best Air Jordan 5 flight suit, and I don't even remember what I was wearing on my feet, but I had to kind of show him. He looked me up and down like I was crazy, like, wow, you're nuts, man.
That's phenomenal.
And then my favorite poster at the time, you guys know the Imagination kind of for the Air Jordan 2s, the Imagination.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you can see that.
That's sick.
That's sick.
So this was the only thing that didn't get tossed, thankfully.
Nice.
Because it was in this frame. But man, and the one question everyone asks me now is, what was he wearing on his feet? No idea. Yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah,
no
I'd be too
clue.
starstruck.
Yeah. We were starstruck. Heck,
that's crazy.
I don't remember what I said to him. If I said 2 words to him, I don't have any idea.
So why was he in the gym the night before he had to play the Suns? Like, was he looking for a pickup game?
No, this was just a workout gym.
Okay.
It was a small little out of the way workout gym. Wasn't a big gym. Kind of in a strip mall. Wasn't a big deal. I think he was just kind of hiding there. Yeah. And looking back on it, after you watch The Last Dance, this was the beginning of the 90-91 season. So this is the beginning of the season where they finally won the championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was it? 4 months earlier, he's gotten his butt kicked by the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals. And so looking back now, you realize this is him. Tim Grover is traveling with him, right? He's on the road with him in Phoenix on November 2 nights before Thanksgiving, by the way. This was this was the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and Tim Grover is with Michael Jordan working him out before a game with the Suns. That means nothing in reality, right?
Yeah.
And that's how dedicated he was to that whole workout regimen, obviously. So
yeah,
anyway.
Tim Grover's story is phenomenal. The story about how he got involved with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I've followed, I don't know, like obviously I knew Michael Jordan, but I forget where I first heard about Tim Grover. It was on like some random podcast or something, but Tim Grover was he went to school to be a phys ed teacher, and he basically he graduated and he's like, I want to work with professional athletes. And he just sent out all these, he heard, like, to your point, Brian, it was after, and this is like talked about now in documentaries, but after the Bulls or the Pistons series, he's like, Jordan's like, I'm getting physically killed by these guys. Like, if you want to blame it on the Jordan rules or whatever, he's like, I can't work with these guys. And like Tim Grover heard that somehow, and he sent letters to everyone on the Bulls, every player, saying, I want to work with you. I want to whatever. And he's like, the only person that wrote me back was Michael Jordan. And he went there, he met him one day. And he's like, the way he explains it is like, that one meeting at Michael's house led to 20 years of a relationship or something like that. It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
And even The Last Dance kind of alluded to it. Like Michael's guys were Michael's guys. It was Tim Grover. It was the security guards. It was, people you wouldn't think would be those guys.
George.
Exactly. And Jordan's entourage. That, to me, that's one of the coolest, like, mystiques about Jordan. Like, if you're in his inner circle and you're loyal, like, you are Mike's guy. And that shit was awesome. Like, that was one of my favorite parts from the documentary. So even just like hearing Tim Grover, like someone who was in relation with someone like Tim Grover, who to most people is a nobody, but actually, and he worked with Kobe, worked with Dwayne Wade, all those guys. Tim Grover's the shit. Like that was really cool to see him in that documentary. And he was the guy in the documentary who broke the Pizzagate story too from the food game. That was one of my favorite parts. the way it's hilarious too. He's like, it was late at night. We're out in the middle of Utah, and Michael gets hungry, so we order Michael a pizza. Like the way he explained it was awesome. He's like, 5 guys come up the door, and he's like, something's off about this. I don't think you should eat this pizza.
Yeah, that seemed a little weird. Can you imagine
I agree.
Can you imagine if 5 guys could actually get to Jordan's door? That doesn't seem realistic.
But also, dude, imagine being like a 16-year-old kid working at a pizza place in Utah and saying, "Hey, we got a customer. It's an M Jordan at whatever hotel."
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! If I'm not the on schedule delivery guy, I'm going. Like, bro, I'm getting in the car. I'm going with you. That part wasn't that surprising to me. But I just picture like Michael Jordan peeking out in like his like keyhole, like in the window, and just seeing 5 guys like holding a pizza.
Right.
It's almost like a 90s like movie. Like that guys with like hiding like a wrench underneath it, just to, like take out his knees or something. But no, that was hilarious. So cool. Let me ask you this. I just thought of this real quick. So I know we're talking about sneakers and vintage sneakers and everything. There's been quite a market, and I don't know how long this has been, but quite a market in just retro in general, like champion jerseys, the sneakers, like all that stuff. Do you have any of that stuff too, or do you remember that stuff? Because I remember like when champion jerseys came out, they were just closed to buy, like the $20-$30. Now they're reselling for like $100, shit like that. And it just kills me every time I see it, because I vividly remember, like, I had like a number 8 Kobe champion jersey, like the blue Allen Iverson 76ers jersey. And like most kids growing up in that time, my mom probably sent them to Salvation Army or whatever, and now they're gone.
Right.
Now it's like, A, I want them because I want to wear them and have them, and B, it's like, damn, like these are killing it in like the resale market. Like how long has this stuff been going on? Like this like this vintage resurgence?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I feel like every era has its own, you know, when I was in high school in the 90s, being, you know, wearing hip bell bottoms and being kind of a hippie was kind of in vogue. So I think every era has a, hey, we want to be like the era 2 or 3 decades before us or whatever. But I remember the first champion jerseys coming out around 91. Yeah. And there was only 3. There was the red Bulls Jordan, the gold Lakers Magic, and the green, the Soapy's got there, the green Larry Celtics.
It's a knockoff.
No, so of course I got the Bulls one.
Yeah.
And of course, because I'm obsessive the way I am, my mom is a sewer, so I took her little sewing kit and I unstitched the C of the champion C off the side, because like the regular Bulls jerseys don't have the C. Mine can't have it either. So I still have it to this day. I would never let my mom put it in the dryer because I didn't want the painted numbers to come off. It still looks pretty darn good. Hasn't been worn in 20 plus years, but used to wear it a lot. Cool. That was the one I used to get flipped off in.
Nice. Everyone remembers the flip off jersey, the flip off 23.
But cool. Then it got obviously started to get big. You know, there'd be 2 or 3 players from every team would get one. Because
the Dream Team jerseys are my favorite ones. The Dream Team jersey champions are so fire. Doesn't even matter who the player is. Those are so dope. And those are like fucking $200 on eBay and shit. I know. The real ones, the crisp ones.
I never got one of those either.
Me neither.
I'm so mad because
me neither.
Probably my favorite team of all time, even over all the Bulls teams. I lived through that too. And man, too bad we didn't have like you have now. Like if you could have got NBA League Pass in 1991, holy smokes.
Yep.
Or you know, the Barcelona Olympics was when pay-per-view was starting to become big, and that was a logistical nightmare. So you couldn't even watch all those games. Anyway, it would have been awesome to watch all those games.
Yeah, I remember the first jersey I ever got was, I don't remember this. I don't know why I remember this. First jersey I ever got was a Steve Young 49ers jersey at Burlington Coat Factory. Nice. Granted, I was in 5th grade. I had no idea who Steve Young or the 49ers or football was, but I saw other kids at school wearing them, so I knew I had to have one. The first starter jacket I ever got was a Buffalo Bills starter jacket at Burlington Coat Factory. And I remember, again, like most people, I was like, I saw other kids having it. I need one too. I remember I was in 5th grade, and it was like just a rack of Buffalo Bills starter jackets. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this symbol looks kind of cool. They look like a horse or something. I'll wear it. And then it's funny because it's like, then you actually get into fandom. And now it's like, I'm a Patriots fan. I wouldn't be got dead wearing Bills gear. Like, fuck that.
Right.
But like back in the day, it was a free for all. Kids had Hornets, Suns, whatever you want. It was just a show. And even starter jackets are starting to come back in that retro market, that resale market now too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little too old to pull off a legit starter's jacket now, like just walking around town without being like an Instagram influencer.
I had one of the Hornets ones, and
those were so dope. Those were.
I had a morning jersey in the teal or turquoise, whatever.
Those are.
I just missed the days of when jerseys were straight up mesh,
and
then eventually, I want to say it was like probably the Lakers were the first to do it, and then the Rockets, the Heat, the Raptors did it, where they went to that shiny,
like silky.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
Mavericks had like those silver ones. Yeah, those were strange.
And then over the years, they've gone, like the NBA's gone from Reebok to Adidas. Now they're with Nike, which is cool. But jerseys are so different now because they have all the the sponsorships.
Yeah,
they have the shoulder panels on the back are cut differently. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Sure.
I'm like, why can't you just keep it the original way? Why do you have to do these weird, funny accents?
Right.
Well, there are funny accents. Hilarious.
I remember back in the day when you only wore your white jerseys at home and your off-white jerseys on the road. And now, you see a team wearing white on the road, and I don't know. I'm an old guy, so it just doesn't sit well with me.
Yep. Takes me a solid 30 minutes to figure out who's home and who's away. It's not like the old days. It's just a quick color test.
What do you
and then the T-shirt jerseys, and then like the city editions, and it's like, come on, man. Like we're lucky, like not lucky, but whatever. We're Celtics fans. That's pretty much as standard as it gets. They really haven't gone too far off the path, but
they're pretty traditional. Yeah,
correct. Which I like.
I like that the Lakers went back to their home, their classic home yellows.
Yeah,
instead of the silky design.
I like the Sunday whites. I thought that was cool. Like during the Kobe era, like the Sunday whites were cool because they were always on Sunday ABC. But besides that, I'm not a big fan of deteriorating too much from the classics. But it's just like, that's just how it works. Like enough time goes by, and now it's okay to start bringing back retros. So now this year specifically, maybe the last couple of years, they're starting to come back. Like the Grizzlies have the old Vancouver stuff, and like you said, Utah. Right. Excuse me. It is kind of cool seeing guys like Donovan Mitchell and like the Karl Malone era, like Jazz uniforms and shit like that. That is cool to see. But I still think there's something to like that OG, like this was, living in that era of the Jordan red, white, and black, and that's it. And that's pretty dope.
Yeah. Agreed.
Go ahead, Soap. What do you got? I know we're coming up on time here.
What I was going to ask, what's your favorite Jordan moment associated with a shoe? I know I gave you some examples, but feel free to use your own.
Man, oh my gosh. Well, that's a good one. That's a tough one. While I'm thinking of it, I'll just kind of ramble. We were talking about you guys were talking earlier about getting excited for the next shoe and how you would see that. It'd either have to be in a magazine or on a commercial, right, or whatever. But the other time that you knew you were going to get a new colorway during the playoffs. So you always wanted to watch the first game of the playoffs because you knew Mike was going to pull out the black colorway, and you had to get your eyes on that. And you always kept waiting for a close-up shot, or, hey, Mike, foul somebody so we can get a close-up shot of you and see if we can get the shoes. But I remember the very first game of the 91 playoffs was he was going to wear the black sixes. And again, I'm watching the game, waiting to see them. And he walks right by the camera. They got the camera out the sideline waiting for the tip, and everyone's doing the fives, right, and the pounds. And Mike walks right in front of the camera, and he starts doing that toe tap thing he does.
Yeah.
So he's flashing you the sole, that black sole with the white or with the clear jagged shapes and the red jump, man. It was so dope.
That was against Philly, right? That round?
New York.
Okay.
First New York, then Philly, then Detroit, then Lakers. Yeah. So anyway, how can you go wrong with the white cement threes during the 88 dunk contest? Iconic, incredible, right? I think the Olympic sevens are so awesome.
I like those too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Mike has one of his most underrated dunks, should be number one for me, is when Magic gave him the behind the back over the shoulder pass, and MJ did the famous leaner dunk on that dude from Angola. That was incredible. Seven. I mean, let's take a step back. The most iconic sneakers probably they're thought of Jordan is 1, 3, and 11, right?
Yep.
Probably. Just because of style and their wearability off the court and on the court. So, you know, the 11 for everything it means, the comeback, you know, the redemption, if you want to say, was awesome. I'll tell you one thing that drives me crazy. I really like the 13s. You know, that was kind of his farewell shoe that he wore in the 98 season. And then at the very end, he wears the 14, right? The last shot 14s.
Yeah.
And everybody, anytime you post a picture about, you know, the 98 season or the championship season, everyone's like, no, don't put the black and red 13s. It's the last shot 14s, man. And you're like, yeah, but he only wore those like twice.
Yeah. Like for most of that series against the Jazz, he was wearing the 13s.
Right.
And then he switched to the 14s.
And even wore some PE low black 13s, if you've ever seen that.
Yep.
They were pretty dope. But anyway, so man, it's just so many. The black sixes for the first championship were so amazing. I don't know, man. It's hard for me because I love so many of those.
That is a good one because that's the one you see him when he's like crying on the Larry O'Brien trophy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's sick. That is a good call. One of my favorite photos is I assume it was the actual year of the fours, but that one when he's just like warming up on the court, like sitting like Indian style with blowing bubble gum holding the fours. That's such a dope picture.
Yeah,
like if you just go on like Pinterest, like you run an Instagram page, obviously, mostly it's your own shit. I just take stuff from other people and post it. But if you just go on like Pinterest and search like Michael Jordan photography, it's fucking crazy. Like some of the stuff you find. It really is like you're always going to find, even someone like you who's been doing this for a long time. I'm sure there's still sometimes you come across photos where like, damn, I've never seen this before. This is fucking dope. Like in old Sports Illustrated or something like that. Like he's just such a cool, like the definition of just like a cool guy. You know what I mean? He can do whatever he wants. It's standing in front of his cars or that classic picture, like in his dorm room with the umbrella, like whatever he's doing. It's just like, he's like, no pun intended, like the picture perfect, like marketable athlete. And it's it's crazy. And I can't even imagine, like you mentioned, you know, rewatching The Last Dance with your kids and stuff. Like my son is 1. I'm like by the time he's old enough to even appreciate this stuff, maybe 10 at the earliest, this stuff's going to be 30 years old. You know what I mean? Like who knows? He might think retro is like Carmelo Anthony and like Dwayne Wade and all that stuff.
Right.
And it's like, there's just nothing like the original and Mike's the original. And it's
absolutely,
it's crazy to like just reminisce on this stuff when it's not that terribly long ago. It's not like we're reminiscing on like Jerry West, like Bill Russell and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I
We're
just
also
thought of another
very
one.
stylish, cool guys. Don't get me wrong, but go ahead. So
the twos when he's coming in the 87 dunk contest on the side dunk where it's basically like a windmill, but that's like one of my favorite dunks ever because it's a windmill, but he's also at like a 45-degree angle, and then by the time he's actually like putting the ball through the hoop, his legs are like that too, and I'm like, that's crazy. That's not just your average dunk. He pretty much jumped from outside the lane, but when
your average
that camera angle, him basically like coming across like to the baseline, and you can see such a good view of the shoes. The same thing when he went from the free throw line in the same dunk contest. It was like, I think just because you could see those so easily. Plus, that was the season that he put up 37 a game. So it's like,
he was on a tear.
Yeah, that's a good call.
The twos are amazing. That I think he calls that the leaner dunk. Obviously, because he's gonna lean into the side.
Kiss the rim.
Kiss the rim. I remember we used to put the rim down and try and mimic that dunk over and over and over. But you got to have amazing body control and balance, and and you see other guys try to do his dunks, right? Like even in game, and just can't even. Just don't have the same flair, the same grace. Anyway,
so let's maybe wrap up with this. I'm curious. We've been talking pretty much, Jordan from the get-go. Are there any other maybe more on the current side players shoe lines you like LeBron or Kyrie or KD or anything like that?
I've got a bunch of KDs probably from 6 to 10 that I liked. 11 and 12 lost me a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, I like the 10s.
But man, the Zoom Air is really comfortable. The fly knit on the 10 is really tight, keeps your foot in there. I played a little pickup in those, and I enjoy those. Some of those are, I like the LeBron area around the 10, 9, 10, 11 era. I liked those, but I never had any of those. But KD is probably the only current one I have sneakers of now. You guys are probably a little more Kobe era than me, but man, I just being a Jordan guy, I hated Kobe because Kobe was trying to be Jordan, right? And everybody wanted him to be Jordan, and I didn't want him to be Jordan. Around Redeem Team 2008, man, I really started to grow some respect for Kobe for who he was and what he actually did. And I mean, even before obviously all the stuff in the last few months that have happened, but so never had any Kobe's though. But I'll tell you the first round of shoes that I really, so Jordan retires in 93, right? That was the beginning of my senior year of high school. So now it's like, and I don't even think Nike knew I don't think they knew what they were going to do. We didn't know what was going to happen to the Jordan line, right? So it's almost like you got to start reaching out for, what else do you like? So I really started to fall in love with the Air Max 2 line that came out that year. Those Charles Barkley, those CB34 Air Max 2s. The Griffey, those Griffey Air Trainers, those pine green ones. I had those two, and then the running shoe of that, which is it's like one of those Instagram loves, the Air Max 2 runners. Type that in. Everyone, they've never been retroed. People are obsessed with those. Anyway, I had those three, and I really liked the Air Max 2 line was one of my favorites, kind of because in absence of Jordan, what else could we love? So
Nike thought they were gonna have to start selling baseball cleats.
Well, it was nice
golf hats.
Batting gloves, Jumpman batting gloves.
Luckily, that didn't have to go too far.
Yeah, fair point. Do you have any Barron stuff?
What's that?
Do you have any Barron stuff from baseball?
I did have a Barron's hat. I have a Jordan 45. It's a Nike T-shirt that says Jordan 45 on the back. I never bought a Barron's jersey, but I did have a Barron's. I had a couple Barron's fitted caps back in the day. I don't know what happened to them, but again, I was obsessed, so I followed. I'll follow whatever.
I wonder if they had plans, like if everything went well with baseball, like to do like Jordan gloves and like cleats and shit like that, because that would have been pretty monumental at the time. There was no baseball players. They weren't. I don't know, whatever the Chipper Jones cleats or anything like that. Like that was
it still would be like there's no such thing as people like looking at like, oh, let me get Mike Trout's next shoe.
Those Mike Trout 4s are fucking fire. Well, that doesn't happen.
Well, you're right, because how do they market those, right, to a mass audience, right?
Right.
Because I think that's why they had Griffey and those trainers that they would turn into cleats for him.
Yeah.
But then they could sell them to the public as trainers, right? But
that's true. You don't really wear casual cleats around to the club.
You said that at the beginning about football players and baseball players not really having a signature shoe. Right. I think it's probably somewhere between. It's hard to see them because you don't see each individual player as easily as you do in basketball. And then probably the marketability of how do you sell these sneakers to people or shoes.
I mean, like Soapy alluded to earlier with PJ Tucker. I mean, in-game, if you think in-game and NBA is strict, NFL is obviously a whole nother level. OBJ would pay fines all season for warming up in literally cleats, whatever he wants to do. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess whatever, that's the NFL's thing. It's probably not going to happen. But I've always wondered that, like what Nike's plan was when Mike said, I'm playing baseball, if this works out, this might be an avenue for us. All things considered, it didn't really work out, but I don't know. You go ahead.
No, it was just, no, you're right. Interesting.
Yeah. So go ahead. Let's,
my last one for you, Brian, is, what do you think of, so obviously Jordan was iconic with the shoes, but then he also had, like, he started the baggy shorts. He made that a thing. He had the leg wrap. He had the single armband around his elbow. What do you think accessories that are worn now on it? And like in any given NBA game, if you looked 20 years ago, it was just guys in a jersey, shorts, and shoes. Then it became jersey, short, shoes, headband, shooting sleeve. Now it's headband, shooting sleeve, knee wraps, shooting sleeves on their legs. I'm like, at some point, this is too much. Like I look at Carmelo or Dwight Howard who go with the double shooting sleeve. In addition to all the other
playing
stuff,
center.
and I'm like, do you guys just want to wear like a baseball uniform or like? So what do you think? What do you think Jordan would wear? And I don't know. Do you even like what you see right now?
Yeah, you're right. It's gotten so complex. It's almost hard. And I don't know if anyone even has a consistent kind of system like Jordan was. Always had that calf sleeve for the most part on. Actually, one of my huge things that drives me crazy is Jordan wore the wristband on the forearm up until the 91 playoffs, and then he pulled it up over the elbow and never went back. And I still don't know why. And my friends make fun of me like, nobody cares, shut up and move on. But
clearly there was some reason behind, like, any guy who's him, the most manic person ever.
I've heard he's meticulous about his craft.
Right.
That's a hot take.
Thank you. That's exactly what I said. The guy is very meticulous about everything he does. He wears the shorts he wears his UNC shorts under his jersey. He eats the same meal. He has everything the same. Why did he take this wristband that he's been wearing for 10 years and move it to his elbow?
Well, what year did you say that was? Back?
It was the
first
playoffs,
title season.
The 91 playoffs. So the first
what if it was a Tim Grover suggestion?
It could have been. He did it during the series with the Sixers. He actually went to a red one on his elbow for one game, and then it was black, and it was always black after that. It was crazy. So I don't know.
Sick. I thought it was awesome that same series that he wore the red, I guess you call them spandex or whatever. At least I can picture it in the home games. He had red spandex under his shorts. Yeah. And then in the previous year, I know you agree with this because I've seen your posts, when he went with the black fives with the white laces against the Bucks.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those are nasty. Dropped 48 on him.
Yep. Yeah. And he even had like a white striped spandex.
Yes, that's what was different. And then
something different.
There was those couple years where the 12 and the 13, he didn't wear the leg wrap as much because I guess he thought that it might make his legs look shorter since the shoes were a little taller.
Well, and you remember when he wore the 12s, he like rolled his socks a little differently. They were a little taller. He like bunched them or something. Anyway, I don't know why. But what would Jordan wear? I don't know. It would be completely original, I think, is all I can think of. It would be totally different and original. I don't know. Maybe he'd take an armband and roll it up and make make some kind of a ball out of it on his forearm.
He'd probably grow his hair back.
Whatever he had left.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of the stuff that you see? Do you like it, or is it just like it's too much? I feel like there's too much going on.
Yeah, there's so much. Like even not to get off top, but like even baseball, where the guys have like all the armor on now.
Oh Jesus!
Oh my gosh, man! Like, but yeah, like I feel like they've got all those like honeycomb pads on their elbows and knees because apparently they're just gonna like start to punch each other. I don't know.
Well, it's funny. We had an episode. This is really funny. Going back to like literally one of our first episodes. So when we had a segment geared towards like athletes and a signature look, and we talked about like Ken Griffey Jr. in the backwards hat and like Steph Curry and like, biting his mouth, like leaving his mouth guard out and shit like that. James Harden's beard, whatever. One of the ones we talked about was Barry Bonds back in like his prime and just like that, like battle armor he would wear on his forearms. Because if you remember, ball 2 of his intentional walk, he would start like taking off his shit, dude. Yeah. And wouldn't have it off till he's like halfway up the first baseline. And it's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you're just like, no one's going to hit you. Or, like, of course someone's going to pitch to you. Second option would be hitting you. So that's not going to happen either. Like, how much time did he waste putting shit on and off, knowing he's going to get intentionally walked a quarter of the time, like to be conservative?
And I feel like,
that's funny.
I feel like there was a ball boy with a wheelbarrow running next to him to throw it all into.
Seriously. Oh my God.
Or holding one of those bins like when you're at the airport and you have to take your belt off.
Going through security to get to first base.
Yeah.
Because the other one we talked about was his earring too. That cross earring that he wore was
hung off there.
Badass too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember watching it. Was like, this guy's like, and it was before like the steroid stuff came out. So it's not like the Astros where it's like you go up to bats expecting to get hit by a pitch.
Right.
It was really him. And then I remember McGuire and Sosa had the ankle guard for like in case of foul tipping it into their own feet.
Oof.
And those were pretty much
bad.
the only guys who had on extra gear. But yeah, like you said, Brian, at this point, those guys are just, I guess, dressed to the nines, but they just got so much stuff on.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that Ben Simmons wears a shooting sleeve, and I've always like seen those memes going around. It's like if you've ever felt useless before, just remember Ben Simmons wears his shooting sleeve, and it's like I don't know, maybe you should take it off. No shoot threes, but all right, let's let's do this, Brian. I know we've kept you for a while. Let's end here, man. First of all, thank you for hopping on, taking some time. Before we let you go, where's the best place for people to continue following you online?
So on Instagram at OG Sneaker Nerd and at OG Support Group as well.
Definitely. We'll put that in the show notes and everything. But yeah, man, good shit tonight. We'd love to have you back on, maybe once like the playoffs get started and stuff like that goes and kind of see how that falls in. But no, good stuff here. We'll let you go. But until next time, thanks for rocking with us again, Morse Code Podcast. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Okay.
Later.
Thanks.